2 tips that will help you achieve your resolutions or your goals in 2025. I'm Gladys, and this is GN Inspire, where we share inspirational stories relating to education, to career, to personal development. Most welcome and Happy New Year. So in today's video, because we are still setting, it's still January, we are still setting and deciding what will be the goals or resolutions that we'll be pursuing in 2025. Maybe you already set up your mind, or maybe you don't believe in these things, or maybe you're still thinking about it, or maybe you're 50-50 about it. I don't know where you are in the scale. But let me just make this video to give a brief testimony of how I use these 2 tips to help me achieve one of my 2024 New Year resolutions. And that was one of the resolutions that I was pursuing last year, was to start a YouTube channel, GN Inspire. This channel, the idea came sometime in 2023, actually. It wasn't last year, in 2023, around November, I think. And it was this, very strong desire to start a YouTube channel, because I do like sharing my stories, mostly to inspire and to motivate students. I like sharing my stories of how I started from a local under-resourced primary school somewhere in Kenya and scaling the academic ladder all the way to the University of Oxford and all the other things that I like to do. So I normally like to share those stories with the students, to encourage, motivate, inspire students. But then towards the end of 2023, I was thinking, maybe I can start a channel so that I share, so that it's easy for these stories to reach to many people. Then the idea was so strong that I actually created this channel. I wanted to call it GN Inspire. And so I created it. I went to YouTube Studio, created it. But then, and we will talk about it, one of the tips, always know that inspiration is perishable. And so you've got to act on it before it expires. So number 1 tip, now that we are talking about it, set a commitment device. This commitment device thing is a concept that I read from Atomic Habits. If you've not read this book, I would kindly ask you to consider reading it, especially as you work on your goals and your resolutions. Most of these goals and resolutions are so huge and they will not be achieved in one day. And so you need little bits of steps throughout the year. And so read Atomic Habits. I think you will find it very helpful. So there is this idea that the author in Atomic Habits calls, very interesting, commitment device. And the idea is that when you get that inspiration, that push, that motivation, just know that it will expire. And so before it does, you set a commitment device. How does that look like? So something like, if you want to start going to the gym or working out this year, a commitment device would be paying that gym subscription fee, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. The more months, of course, the better, because then you will just be feeling, if you don't go to the gym, then you're losing your money. If you want to go back to school, maybe master's, MBA, I don't know, PhD, send an application. If you want to start a business, commitment device would be creating a page like today. Just random name. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just create a page, whatever social media page you like, and announce to your friends and family or your followers that, hey guys, this is the year. Stay tuned, like this page, because hot products and hot content will be dropping sometime in February, in March. And people will like, and they will camp there and they'll be waiting. Those are some just random examples of commitment devices that you can think of setting. Well, everyone is still talking about New Year resolutions, New Year goals. Set those commitment devices so that it's very difficult to go back. So this is what happened in my case. So November, I created GN Inspire. I didn't tell anybody, and then I let it go. Then last year, 2024, around January, I was seated somewhere vacationing, and I was just thinking, what do I want to do this year that will create impact in my life and in the community, or like just something that I'll sit down in December and feel so proud of myself. And while I was thinking about it, that little voice, the whispering voice, told me, why are you still looking for something impactful to do in 2024? Why are you still looking for a new project? Start a YouTube channel. And I tried to ignore that voice. You know that little tiny whispering voice? It's not loud. It's very silent. It's not loud. It whispers. But then we try to push it aside. We are busy. We are in a noisy world, distracted by social media, by everything. And then we push it aside. But the good thing with this voice, I call it a divine voice, is that it's incessant. It will not go away. Whatever you do, push it aside, distract it, it will not go away. It will come back. And that is what happened in my case. It came back in January 2024 and it was telling me, Gladys, start a YouTube channel. Why are you looking for a New Year resolution? Which other one do you want? And I was like, okay, well, I tried giving excuses. I was like, oh, I don't think even I can be a YouTuber. I don't think I'm built for this. All those things. I'm busy with all these things. So I gave excuses, and January went, February went, and the voice was still there, incessant, and asking me, please, just do something about it. And so in March, finally, I decided I was going to post whatever random video. And so I made a little story of my life. And I was like, on 18th of March, I think it was, 2024, I'll post my first video. Whatever I will have, I'll post it. And so I set a commitment device. And I told my friends, I think around February, I copied, because I remember I already had the YouTube channel. So I copied the link and I shared with my siblings. And I told my siblings, guys, hot content is about to drop. Can you share this link with your college mates? Tell them to wait, anticipate inspirational stories about how to navigate graduate school, how to navigate career, how to stand out, scholarships, where to get them, how to apply, and all those things. And yeah, my siblings did, and some of my friends, and they shared. And so I slept. I woke up the following day and I had around 20 subscribers. Just random people, not really random people, but like friends of my siblings, friends of my friends. And they had actually bought the idea. And they had pitched a tent on my YouTube channel. They had subscribed and they were waiting for that hot content to drop. And so my device was all set. My commitment device was fully set. At that point, I could not go back. These were not random people. These were people that when I scrolled through the subscriber list, I could see people that I know. And I had hyped it. I had hyped the channel, especially when the inspiration was so high. But then I slept. I woke up in the morning and I was feeling like, what have I just done? Will I manage? Where will I get content throughout the year? What is this that I'm doing? Set a commitment device so that it's difficult for you to go back. Because remember, inspiration is perishable. And once January is gone and we are now in the thick of things and the year is rolling by, it's so easy to forget about your goals and your resolutions. So number one is set a commitment device so that the only way forward is to just keep going so that you cannot go back. Number two is take one step at a time. I remember when I was starting my PhD, I moved from a bachelor's degree and I started my PhD without a master's degree. And so as you can imagine, and I know many graduate students, many PhD students will agree with me, that the first few weeks, few months, literally the first few weeks, first few months, the first semester of your PhD, the first year of your PhD, it's normally difficult for many people. It's so intimidating. And I was intimidated. I was lost. I did not know I was just feeling like, I think I made the wrong choice. I think I made a wrong move here. And someone told me something that I've never forgotten. And I think some of you have heard about it. And because I was so confused and I felt like losing hope because I was trying to figure everything at one go and it's not possible. And so this friend of mine told me, trying to figure out all your PhD in your first week, in your first month, in your first year is like trying to eat an elephant in one sitting. It's not possible. I mean, if you even manage to do it, you will constipate and you will die. It's overwhelming, intimidating. And so if you were to eat an elephant, you assess the size of the elephant, then you decide which piece will you start with. Then today you start with that piece, tomorrow you come back for the next piece, and before you know it, one step at a time, 1 kilometer at a time, the elephant is gone. And so in your 2025 goals, or generally just your goals and your resolutions, as you pursue them, most of them will feel intimidating, especially the huge ones. If you want to start a business, you're trying to map out 100 kilometers ahead. It's very difficult. And so encouragement here is that have a rough idea of those 100 kilometers. Like in my case, I knew that this channel, I wanted to host some of my friends with inspirational stories. And actually, I think I should pause here and give a shout out to all the guests that agreed to be interviewed to share the inspirational stories on this channel. Thank you so much, guys. So the idea was that I would be hosting my friends and interview them, then share the stories here. That was a rough idea. But then I was just trying to figure out, okay, so where will I get, we have around 50 weeks in a year, where will I get 50 guests? Because the plan was to drop content I think that was another commitment device, to drop content every Friday, every week throughout the year. If no one watches, it's okay. If people watch, okay. The plan was drop content, post interview, quality content once a week throughout the year. That was the plan that I had. Where the 50 guests, where I would get those 50 guests, I wasn't sure. I had a list of 5 friends that I knew. If I emailed them, they would say yes, and they did. But then the rest, I wasn't sure. One step at a time. And this is what I learned. And so I interviewed the 5 friends, and while I was going through the list, this is another lesson that I learned. And this powerful, they call it spiritual term or spiritual concept, synchronicity. If I was to sum up all my 2024 in one word, I would call it synchronicity, because that word was all over and I was seeing synchronicity everywhere. And it's this concept that when you hit the call, you know that call we talked about, you know that voice we talked about earlier, the silent whispering voice. That voice is normally divine. It's coming from a higher being, whoever higher being you believe in, God, universe, whoever. It's coming from them, and it's nudging you to co-create with the universe, to bring that talent to the world and share with the world. And it has a lot of blessings, or many things will happen, many good things or positive things will happen if you heed that call. And so synchronicity, the concept of synchronicity is that if you hit that call, if you accept the call, and you take one step forward, it doesn't matter. You are scared. I was very scared. Normally everyone is scared of criticism. You are scared you will fail. You're scared you don't know what next. You will take the first kilometer, and then what? Your critical voice is telling you, and then what? Do you think you are special? But then that divine silent whispering voice is telling you, just take the one step. The rest will map themselves out. And so synchronicity is this concept that you accept the calling. You listen to that whispering voice, you accept. Then you take the first one step. And as you do, whoever sends that voice will bring people, will bring things, will take you places, will bring resources to allow you or to help you complete your goals or your resolutions. I think there is a quote about universe conspires to help you achieve your dreams, something like that. And I think there is another quote also in The Alchemist along those lines. And so encouragement for you guys this year is that you don't have to have everything mapped out, all the 100 kilometers. Just have a plan for the first 1 kilometer, maybe the first 5 kilometers, and start the journey. Take the first step and let the universe provide the resources, people, things that will help you complete the rest of the journey. And that is exactly what happened in my case. While I was interviewing those 5 friends, I just got some random ideas about how to continue growing my channel. In fact, some of the guests literally wrote to me telling me, I like what you're doing. and I would like to be on your channel. Talk about universe bringing people and bringing resources to help you achieve your goals, literally. And so in my journal, actually, I was just screenshotting, taking screenshots of those DMs and just saying synchronicity, like synchronicity. Look at synchronicity. People will literally come to help you, or you will get resources. You will just figure out. But for that to happen, you have to trust the voice, accept it, and you have to make the first step of faith for all those things to happen. These 2 tips allowed me to start a YouTube channel, something that I never thought I would start. And 1 year down the line, it's not even 1 year yet, because I posted my first video March of 2024. So we'll be celebrating 1 year anniversary in a few months. But literally, YouTube sent me an email the other day saying that I'm now monetized. I didn't believe it. Something that I was obviously thinking will be monetized down the line, but I had been warned, or I had been told that it rarely happens within 1 year on an average channel, that is. I mean, some people start it and they are monetized like the following day. But like for an average channel, especially channel like this with education related stuff, it grows very slowly. And so I'd been warned that psychologically prepare for like 2 years before you are monetized. But then look at setting commitment device and taking 1 step at a time. That 1 first kilometer has now developed into several kilometers, and now we are monetized even with less than 2K subscribers. When I received the email, we were at 1.7K. As you work on your New Year 2025 New Year resolutions and goals, or just random goals that you have in general, I hope you leverage these 2 tips to help you move forward. The first one is you set commitment device, announce to your friends, pay you some money, because inspiration is perishable. So that down the line, tomorrow, next week, next month, when the inspiration is gone, it will be difficult for you to go back. Set commitment device. And number 2, take the first step. Map out the first 1 kilometer. Don't worry about the rest of the kilometers. Synchronicity will happen. And before you know it, places, things, resources will come along the way to help you achieve your goals. Happy New Year, guys.